On Wednesday, President Bola Tinubu presented a 49.7 trillion naira appropriation bill to a joint session of the National Assembly, this for the 2025 fiscal year. The appropriation bill, tagged Budget of Restoration, prioritizes defense and security, as well as infrastructure, education and health, as Joke Adisa reports.
Thank you, Heavenly Father.
Another annual ritual heralding a new spending plan for Africa's most populous nation. Governors, ministers and presidential aides are among those who accompanied President Tinubu to this budget presentation exercise. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, welcomes dignitaries, including Mr. President, to the joint session. He speaks to the giant strides the current administration has recorded in the last 18 months, while acknowledging the attendant pains brought about by some of the government policies. He describes the tax bills as vital to reforming the nation's tax system, while he wants heirs of government agencies to always honor invitations from the National Assembly.
They should not see invitations as nuisance. They should know that any invitation is constitutional. And we also have constitutional powers to take further action where they refuse to appear.
President Bola Tinubu comes with high hopes as he presents the 2025 budget estimates to the Parliament. He says the 2024 budget has 14.55 trillion naira in revenue, representing 75% as of the third quarter.
Our budgetary allocation underscores this administration's strategic priorities, particularly in advancing a renewable agenda and achieving its developmental objectives. I know this less traveled road has not been easy, that there have been difficulties and sacrifices. They will not be in vain, I assure you.
Mr. President describes the budget proposal as ambitious but necessary to secure the nation's future. On the proposed budget, the government targets 34.82 trillion naira in revenue to fund the budget, with 15.8 trillion naira for debt servicing. 13.08 trillion naira, or 3.89% of gross domestic product (GDP), will make up the budget deficit. The budget projects inflation to decline from 34.6% to 15%. In the budget estimates, defense and security gets 4.91 trillion naira, infrastructure 4.06 trillion naira, education 3.5 trillion naira, and health 2.48 trillion naira.
The journey of economic renewal and institutional development, which we began 18 months ago, it is not a journey of our choosing, but one we have to embark on for Nigeria to have a real chance at greatness.
The president says food security is non-negotiable. The Speaker, House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, taxed the government on the need to reflect on the fiscal realities of Nigeria's economy.
As we approach 2025, we must embrace the realities before us with determination. Stabilizing prices, boosting agricultural productivity, expanding infrastructure, and investing in education, healthcare, and security.
He says the 2025 budget figure is ambitious and commendable.
The 2025 Appropriation Bill is tagged Budget of Restoration to consolidate on the gains of the current budget. And like Mr. President has said, it will impact positively on the lives of the citizens. And Nigerians say they cannot wait to see the positive impact of this fiscal document on citizens in the new year. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, joining us in the studio now is economist Said Ajadi. Thank you very much for joining us. Compliment of the season to
He's already in the mood of the season.
It's glaring. Right, it's good to see you again. Right, but looking at this document now, tagged Budget of Restoration, it gives a sense that yes, the presidency is mindful and has been speaking towards the fact that, the economy was essentially battered. and now it insists it wants to continue its track of renewed hope and now focusing on restoration. How are things looking at from your end?
Well, from my professional understanding, it's a positive and forthright-looking budget. Very ambitious, truly. But when you look at what the president has done before the budget, you can tell that he has a strategic plan, because he sent a bill of tax reform to the National Assembly. And that tells in this budget. It's telling you that, yes, it's very ambitious, but if we're able to pass the tax bill and we are forthright with governance, a lot of funds will come in. And those funds will defray a lot of bills that had been in the past. We're owing too much. Nigeria is in a lot of debt, not from today, but from yesterday. So, and from strategic understanding of what the government is doing, we are paying back a lot of money as well. If we are paying 15 trillion out of 34 trillion, what's that telling you? That's about half of our budget being paid back as loans. That's huge.
15.8
trillion
naira.
Debt servicing.
Is huge.
That's huge.
In fact, if you look at it, when you compare it to the whole budget sum, is going to about
45%. So,
do we really have this money to finance this particular budget?
That's why I said to you that the president had a strategic plan. That's why the tax was sent, the tax bill. That means that he has a bracket that has to be covered, and that means that taxes can bring in a lot of income. Stability in the oil sector, with us doing about 1.8 million barrels now, it means that a lot of revenue will come in. If it gets to 2.06 that he has assured us, probably because there's peace in the Niger Delta, so we can achieve that. And you see there's a new round of licensing that is going on. It means that moribund blocks will be given to people that are ready to invest. And with the moving around of the president looking for direct foreign investment, it means that there are some things that we don't know that they are projecting for that period. And when you look at the figures and the numbers that he has put in place for some strategic ministries like military, the army, the education, and you can tell that and health, it's never been done before. So he's saying to you that there are some things that we understand that are very necessary now that needs to be done. And so we have invested more in that, in the little resources that we have, so that we can have direct impact on Nigerians. For me, if we are able to get derivatives right, what do I mean by derivatives? Derivatives were what Awolowo used to be able to run the whole of Western region. Awolowo did not have any money, but he worked with the associations and the agricultural associations. That's why I mentioned last week that the reality of the situation is that the rice farmers must account for the money collected from CBN. Because if they are doing right by us, we are not supposed to be buying rice at 90,000 naira. This money was given.
It is way more than. Because
and guess what? I did a little research on my own side. I realized that all the so-called foreign rice are the monies given to the farmers by the CBN. You go to Kebbi Market now, live and direct, they will de-shell the rice for you with a fan and give you imported bags right there in the market.
You have fact to back this up?
I have that fact. I have it on my phone to show you now.
That, these farmers are also beneficiaries.
They will bag it with caprice and all these so-called foreign bags, new. And you bring it here to Lagos and tell me.
Where lies the proactiveness of the government?
That's why I said to you that if the derivatives are put in place, because this is an ambitious budget, well, if you have the derivatives in place and you have the tax reform in place, it means that you can get a lot of income. It means that you can get back from this. 966 billion naira was given to the rice farmers, for goodness sake. We launched the pyramids 2022 before Buhari left. And he won them. This rice is getting to you at 15,000. Don't hoard this rice and let the people bear. Why then would you sell rice at that kind of money? And it is not imported. It is local rice that is rebacked.
Okay.
So what it means is that...
Who is responsible for this? Would you label it, you know, at the quarters of the federal government, or is it a middleman?
That's why I'm saying this. CBN must ask the rice farmers. The loans we gave to you, you have revolved the loan over and over again. Okay, so where is the payback? Number one. Number two, why are you increasing the? You have to be there. You gave them the money. So you have to note what is going on with the rice millers and the farmers. You don't, for instance, the rice millers have, I'm hearing that they want to get a TV station. What does rice milling has to do with TV station? What does rice farming have to do? 966 billion. Put that back in the economy. Banks will have funds to give individuals. You can't get 100,000 in the bank now. You can't get 20,000 in the POS. That's not good. And you're claiming to have 150 billion as reserve. So government is saying that without the private sector, we are trying to get Nigeria on a right track. But you have to support government.
Let's look at some of the projections of this administration, talking about the inflation rate. It's saying that it will decline from the current 34.6% to about 15%.
Thank you.
Next year.
That was where I was going to.
How realistic is this?
I mentioned two things that can bring it down. Banks can't borrow you money right now. Why? Because you see, the Brentwood companies are bringing down the government's throat. We are in debt to here. So we have to thank the team of the president to at least not make us go down the drain, that we are floating. And we are stabilizing, most importantly. Like I told you earlier, talk about the PMS. PMS was 1,000 plus when I came on the last program. And I told you that if Dangote comes on stream, it will go higher, but eventually come down. It is economics, demand and supply. Dangote is producing now with Nigerian crude on the Naira. What it means is that I'm hearing that he wants to put at 899 per liter now. What's that telling you? That's a 100 Naira difference. Whether he likes it or not, it's going to 600. Because you see, the petrol stations now have a lot of petrol. There is no purchasing power. And so after a while, your stock becomes a problem. You want to sell it. And you are telling the people supplying you that don't bring more. We have not sold the ones that are here. What will happen to price? It's basic.
And okay, so while there is optimism, or one can say there is some form of optimism in that category,
yes.
Not even in the whole sector, but when you look at the fact that our refineries, our own state-owned refineries, are still struggling. Port Harcourt refinery that, we heard that one too had also, recovered somewhat. Now we're hearing that it's grounded. It's in the papers as at this morning.
Yeah, I saw it on
again, Port Harcourt refinery shuts down.
I saw it.
Despite the humongous amounts that have been spent on rehabilitating it.
Sensational news is not my style. I believe in Nigeria. What we have done is that it has kick-started. Something that has been moribund for 20-something years cannot operate like that. Take it anywhere in the world.
Despite the monies that have been spent.
I am a producer in Nigeria, irrespective of how difficult the situation is. I am telling you there are challenges everywhere, even in the private sector. You have challenges every day in production. But the fact that the refinery has kick-started is a plus for me. What it means is that...
Are we speaking about Dangote refinery now?
Port Harcourt refinery. Okay. The problem is going to be solved.
Even the new price list of the NNPC from Lagos is about 899.
There you go.
Warri is about 970.
There you go.
Port Harcourt, the same price, 970.
So what it's telling you is that there is progress. However, there are a lot of challenges that had been. That's why I said to you, before we got here, we were in a doldrum, but they were managing, they were cloaking us with a lot of propaganda. We did not know we had already been in a lot of deep shit.
So how long can Nigerians wait? Because
we have started seeing the possibility.
A lot of people are talking about implementation of this budget.
Let me say
which is very crucial at this time. So some people have questioned the fact that we see some agencies talking about buying computers again. What happened to the one bought last year?
That's subject to appropriation by the National Assembly. If we send them there to do that and rubber stamp again, then they don't go back there. It's left to Nigerians to decide all these things. It's not left.
They've also said that certain agencies, federal institutions and bodies, MDAs, will be shut out of the budget because they have been, sending out letters of invitation for them to come and defend past budget, and they have not come. So do you see that as a way to go to ensure effective implementation this time around?
Discipline and effective implementation. Because you see, last budget was 85%. That's a plus. It's never happened at that kind of... The projections and the numbers is what I have to deal with. The numbers are good. The projections are okay. Positive, not retrospective. Yeah? But we have to work towards all these things. And how do we start? This is one. Reform. Renewal. Renewal is about telling the rice millers where is the money that was given you by CBN. That's number one renewal. Number two renewal is that government, I'm sure this year, has been involved in production of food because we always have grain reserves. What it means is that government can bring down the prices of goods and services with what they produce themselves. Federal government, in quote. You see, if federal government gets it right, the states will be forced to come and sink. So the government now can bring down the price of beans, the price of rice, the price of gari. Why should gari be 2,000 to 5,000 naira? I was producing gari, sugar, and ekpa in 1998. My cost of production was 14 naira. Obasanjo came into government and changed gari from 2 naira to 200 naira.
Are you still producing at this time?
I can't produce anymore because I was making 1 naira at that time.
Right.
I was selling at 20 naira.
Despite the cost of production.
Cost of production has killed the business. I can't sell you my instant meal. I can bring it next time to show you. My instant meal, I have over 100,000 packs of it wasted because I can't sell it more than 20 naira. But at the price of gari now, I cannot produce and sell to you. Will I sell it to you at 200 and you buy? I can't. And the essence of producing then was to give students, laborers, and all this opportunity to survive. But when you give policies of government, you are not in tune with what is happening in the market. These are the results of it. You are telling Nigerians to go and start to take chips to China, yet you have not shored up your production. That was why gari started the increase spirally. It's called galloping inflation because there are more people demanding to buy gari. For instance, the people that do Sobil now, in Oyo, they are now producing things that, fantastic idea, because now we don't import it for Coca-Cola, Cadbury, and all of that now. It's produced in Nigeria. But they are competing with the local food consumption. So cassava now is being competed for by the people exporting, by the people using it for local production of things to sell to the producers. Is like a raw material that was imported before. So the woman is making a lot of billions now. Fantastic. But we have to show production. We are 200 million people. The first security we need to do now is food security. We cannot clothe ourselves. We cannot feed ourselves. Why are we a nation? So I feel that this budget is trying to tackle that. Because if the military has enough resources and they are well trained, and the agricultural sector is well funded, and we are monitoring it, come on.
Stabilizing the price of food is something that is a bit worrisome to Nigerians.
Yes.
Because they go to the market today, and the next day, it's another.
I go to the market every day.
So at what point, what mechanism can be put in place to
Well,
stabilize?
I'm not in government.
To stabilize. No,
Advice.
You can advise.
That's what I'm saying. My advice to government is this. There used to be some things in those days. We can go back, introspect. Don't look at foreigners. Look at Nigerians. We have a lot of resources. Send the people that are not working, that they are saying that they are looking for resources. They can monitor pricing. For instance, let me give you an instance. Banana has come into play now. They are harvesting banana. They are harvesting plantain. Buhari invested 200 and something billion in plantain with Indians in 2021. Where is that? They're talking about hard-earned dollars. We don't know where that is. So a lot of things Mr. President must ask questions about. It's not about hope. It's about how do we go for, because it's renewed hope, correct? Number two, if I am the president, I want to advise him now. The first thing he needs to do is send those boys to the villages and where the major markets are. Let them go and monitor pricing. You cannot buy something at 1,000 naira in Benue and come and sell it at 5,000 in Lagos. It's because there is no middle monitoring. That's number one. Number two, the woman in mile 12 cannot tell me that she does not know that people are bagging rice in Kebbi and Zamfara. Do you understand? She knows very well. So the difference between that Kebbi and 100 and something, because I'm saying 90,000, you're saying it's not 90,000, it's more than that. It means that we are the ones constituting a problem for ourselves. Where is that gap of over 70,000 going to? someone's pocket.
All right.
So government must monitor.
Right, and that is, absolutely why government was, constituted in the first place.
Yes.
And okay.
So monitor it.
Right.
Employ people. That is also a clause.
All right.
So when you employ them, monitor them, they will checkmate these people that are called alarobos, that is the middlemen. Right. It is the middlemen that are controlling the resources of Nigeria, mind you. And so if government checkmate how much anybody gets on any item in Nigeria, which used to be a price control board, that has to come back now. Because we are more. And so we need monitoring. You can't leave us to our
fine place
ourselves.
To rest our conversation. Mr. Said Ajadi, we thank you very much for speaking to us, and we hope we can, engage with you on this and other pertinent issues in due course.
Pleasure is mine. Oh,
thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And after the break, we'll be taking